music and start the recording. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, Wakatakakage actually had a good number of exciting bouts, and we will start to break them down. And if at any point you have to leave, or if you are watching, or if anyone joins during the middle of this stream, that's okay because it's going to be reposted to my YouTube channel. So don't be afraid to go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Y'all had a nice rainy sumo evening. It's not raining where I am. In fact, it's usually pretty hot and not too humid, but you know, we get rain sometimes. Yeah, of course, Wakatakakage, my man that I've been kind of I want to say I've been watching him closely because his debut in the top division kind of coincided with me like seriously watching sumo. And I remember it very vividly that during his debut in the top division, he was 4-0 and really tearing it up. Like, he looked amazing. And on the 5th day, he pulled out because of like a high ankle sprain. So, you know, gets back down to Judio with a 4-11 record, comes back up, slowly makes his way up to the top, and now we finally see him here going up against everybody at the very tippy top, the Shin-Sekiwake Wakatakakage, looking fantastic this tournament. And it's a good thing that a good number of his matches were quite exciting too, because, you know, if it were Teruno Fuji, it would just be, oh, Teruno Fuji bounced off of him and just grabbed the belt and won. But at least with Wakatakakage being smaller, being more wiry, people are making comparisons to, you know, Chiyono Fuji, which I think it's way too early to make a comparison like that. But being so young, being at the very top and getting his first YUSHO, and now being one step away from Ozeki, 12 more wins away. Wanted Takayasu to win. I mean, truthfully, I was cheering for just a really good tournament. Like, I don't think anybody had Wakatakakage YUSHO on their bingo card. I don't think anyone really had Wakatakakage double-digit wins on their bingo card. Takayasu probably could have seen coming, considering he was coming back from injury and then an extra basho off due to, you know, COVID. But we will get into it now. The first match of the tournament for Wakataka was up against Tamawashi. So like we usually do, we'll watch it at full speed. I'll try to break it down at full speed, and then we will watch it moment by moment kind of thing. Yeah, it was a very, very exciting tournament. A lot more fun than I would have expected for you know, one Ozeki starting 0-5 and then the Yokozuna bowing out of the tournament early. Excuse me. So, let's get into it. They go at it. Tamawashi, a great blast. All right. But he gets I was just talking about how the matches were going to be exciting, and then this one was simply Wakatakakage taking a step back, and really isn't too much to see here. So, I'll give Wakatakakage blue on the pencil. But yeah, Wakatakakage versus Tamawashi. Tamawashi comes out with a really nice charge. Wakatakakage leads with his left foot forward, and then he's going to pull it back. Takes a few steps back, and, you know, just classic overextension from any given sumo wrestler. Tamawashi getting pushed to the side. You could see his arms going that way, whereas Wakatakakage applying the pressure with his arm around like that to just turn him to the side and turn him to the side and Tamawashi, a great let him fall. But he gets sidestepped and falls forward. Win one. His hands. I would say that was more on Tamawashi being unprepared, but it was quick footwork and quick thinking from Wakatakakage in the first place to really, you know, secure that win. So good on him. Day 2, let's hope it's a little more exciting. Let's go and try to find that match. Shodai, a little too far. Or Shoryu, not far enough. Here we go. Wakatakakage versus Onosho. Love the new salt emote. That one's from the I stole that one from the Nato Sumo Discord. Yeah, don't mind.
We'll have to.
Don't mind this ugly character
going to the
behind me
concert,
right
drinking,
now.
staying the night, and then coming back the next day.
But all right. Wakatakakage versus YUSHO. After seeing yesterday's match, you would probably think the same thing is going to happen, considering YUSHO's style of charging headlong forward up against a smaller man, Wakatakakage.
And YUSHO.
Oh yeah, I had Discord Nitro for 1 month, and it was one of the best months on Discord of my life because I got to use my sumo emotes everywhere. And it was awesome.
Head-to-head. So it is a
I love
nice
Nato sumo
rivalry
emotes.
between these two. Wakatakakage, can you start 2-0 as the Sekiwake?
Wakataka versus YUSHO.
False start.
False start.
I'll see if
All right. I would pay for Nitro if it wasn't so much money. I don't think it's worth it, like $100 to use emotes. Wakataka actually catches YUSHO, and this is the first time we really see Wakatakakage's power shine through. And we could watch it again at full speed here. Like, as soon as, right after contact here, you think YUSHO is the more powerful wrestler, but then Wakataka catches him and just throws him down.
Easy win.
So moment by moment here. Again, another fast match, but again, this is a different side of Wakataka. The first match, we saw him with a good backstep sidestep. This time around, we see him with a great charge forward, catching YUSHO, one of the more explosive sumo wrestlers, off the tachi. So we see him inside right, that front foot forward, and I do love doing these breakdowns because you start to notice their tendencies and their trends. But you can see already Wakatakakage's knee bent out and stable out in that direction to really help him build leverage so he can push forward. And from here, you get to see him push forward with this inside right behind the back, forearm on the chest, elbows kind of in. Can't really see the left arm, but I have to imagine that he's doing the same thing over there while YUSHO, grabs the face. And from here, Wakataka pushes forward while YUSHO takes a step back. YUSHO trying to counter with the left hand to the face to throw Wakatakakage off balance. But because his knees are in such a wide stance, like I mentioned earlier, you could see his knee is like kind of pointing out. And this knee is pointing forward. So he has a wide base. Like if you want to imagine, let me see if I can't draw it out, like a top-down view. Like that's his foot, knee coming up, and then this is his waistline, and then his other knee down, driving forward with his foot. This gives him a very wide base to work from, a lot of leverage he can build with his feet pushing back while he pushes back with his left, drives forward with his right to continue to make some leverage. And with that, he pushes forward really quickly. He keeps those feet wide, so when he does get turned by YUSHO, he's ready for it. And then from here, YUSHO is on the back foot. He's at the edge, up on one foot, and Wakatakakage, you could see he even circles around. So he went from, going this way, facing forward, to circling around and ensnaring YUSHO in this trap. Just getting right up close to him, right up behind him, and then throwing him down and out of the ring. Just really fast. A lot of speed and a lot of power from Wakatakakage. I hope we don't just blitz through these matches. At the very least, the match against Ichinojo takes like 2 minutes, so that'll be a fun one to watch.
Next, we have Kiribayama versus Abi.
That was Tamawashi versus Takanosho. Kiribayama versus Abi, and then Wakataka versus Meisei. Now, Meisei this tournament, just abysmal. I don't know what happened to him. Plus a play, exactly. So And these first two really quick matches will make up for it in the fact that there's a playoff and long matches. So, well, Meisei started off, he won his first match, lost his second. You think, okay, he might try to make his way back up to Komusubi, back up to Sekiwake, but then he just completely bombed. Don't know what's wrong with Meisei. Haven't gotten any information about Meisei. But here we get to see Wakatakakage versus Meisei. And this, I want to believe, is going to build up into a rivalry because they were Shin Komusubi at the same time, but Wakatakakage went 7-8 while Meisei went 8-7, or something similar to that. So I want to believe that these two, in the same class right now, are going to be good rivals for quite a while. Lions Can't Roar stinks. So we'll see what this match has to offer us. Meisei gets caught by Wakatakakage, and similar to the Onosho match, just gets pushed out chest to chest. Except this time Wakatakakage didn't have to pursue him because Meisei wasn't moving backwards as part of an attacking attempt. He was moving backwards because he got overpowered. Like, again, full speed. Wakataka gets that inside and then just pushes it back. He gets the double inside really easy against Meisei. We could see it again. Just look out for, because now again we're starting to notice the trend, starting to notice the pattern. Wakatakakage's left foot coming forward. Here it comes. Bam. Wide stance. Catches Meisei. Inside right. I can't tell if the left is inside. I think Meisei has the inside right over there. But yeah, we can see this left foot building leverage. Right foot being used to push off of so he can go forward with that next step. Inside right. Left hand trying to fight inside, but you can see Meisei is kind of blocking that inside left right there. But Meisei, his stance is kind of similar to Wakataka's, except he's up on his toes, whereas Wakataka has his entire foot down on the ground. So that's where Meisei loses a lot of the leverage, and that's probably part of the reason why he gets pushed back so quickly. Because he does manage to stand himself up a little more, resettle that footing, but Wakataka going on this push forward, you can see Meisei trying to switch the grip to that inside left. Still can't really tell what's happening on the far side by the Gyoji, but this is where we see Wakataka secure, get low, hops down low, face to the chest, Meisei giving up that chest, and from here it's pretty much over. Double inside, hand around the back, hand on the belt. Meisei fighting for his life, and nothing's doing. So another really quick win from Wakatakakage.
Surgical.
One that I can't say was unexpected, but it really is showing us how much power is behind Wakatakakage. And truthfully, I don't know where that kind of power came from.
YouTuber, which
ooh, nice.
Even in the past when I've gotten raids from like huge
Wakatakakage versus Kiribayama on day 4.
Versus Kiribayama.
I'm pretty sure Wakatakakage loses here, but we'll see it at full speed.
Kiribayama down and ready. Wakataka with
Kiribayama gets hands to the face, makes it so that Wakatakakage can't drive forward, and then turns him around.
Hatakikomi for Kiribayama.
Yeah, this is a match where I thought like, oh, Kiribayama won, so now we might see Wakataka start to falter, go in between, maybe get another 9-6, 8-7 type thing. Like that hot start from Wakatakakage, burnt out. And this is where I thought Kiribayama would start stepping it up, but Kiribayama's inconsistency is its own story. So coming back into, the full speed again, Kiribayama meets him with hands to the face, hands to the shoulders, makes it so that Wakatakakage can't get inside at all. That inside left from Kiribayama really blocking Wakatakakage's inside right. And I'll take it back a step again so we can break it down moment by moment. But we can see right here, Straight off the Tachi-ai. Kiribayama right up, hands to the face. Hands to those shoulders, and that is what stops all of Wakataka's momentum. Because you used to see, or rather, let me draw this out first. Gets those hands up to the chest, and Wakataka, you would take a stride like that far forward, but because he gets stopped immediately, he's shortened it all the way back here. So now he's not generating as much power as he's used to. And because of that, now he has to fight off the back foot. Even though Kiribayama was the one to take a step back as well, he's the one in control here. He has double inside, he has the hand to the face, and although Wakataka does have this hand on Kiribayama's back over here, he tries to step back and resettle himself. Because, I mean, you can't realistically do anything with his hand this far back outside. And in trying to resettle himself, Kiribayama goes on the offensive. That left hand to the face is still making contact with the body. He's still pushing as hard as he can right here against the chest, pushing him all the way back. Right hand, can't really see where it is, but that left hand is doing all of the work for Kiribayama right now. And this is where he follows up with another hand to that upper chest, to the trap muscle of Wakatakakage. And you can see it clear as day. Kiribayama, feet driving forward. Wakatakakage, his stance is wide, it's solid, but he's the one that has his feet in a line. So now he's on a bad axis where he can easily get tipped over either way. So he needs to stagger his footing so he has a bit more stability. He's on the back foot. Kiribayama is on the offensive right now. So Wakatakakage does the smart move, takes a step back all the way to the Tawara, but that just allows Kiribayama all of the room he needs to put those hands straight to the chest again. And we can see Wakataka, he tried to go low and tried to go for the chest that way. But Kiribayama, he just pulled his hands, instead of trying to, swing them back and attack, he instead, if I can just erase this one line, instead puts his hands up and then pushes forward. So he's not trying to go for those windmill moves like we see from Abi. He just put his hands up to the middle and drives them straight to the chest, which is what I was taught as an offensive lineman in football practice. You bring your hands up, elbows in, drive those palms straight forward into the chest of the man across from you, and that has a lot of pushing power straight to Wakatakakage's chest. So what does Wakataka try to do against it? He's on the Tawara, fighting back, trying to take a step forward here, and he does manage to turn Kiribayama to the side. And this is where you would think, now Wakataka can get the attack on, because he sees right here the back of Kiribayama in front of him. So how does Kiribayama respond? He manages to dip that shoulder low, and that was a very small move, but it was very noticeable. He dips the shoulder so he can block the attack with his shoulder, with this arm, and now Wakataka, if he wants to continue the push, he needs to turn himself around this way so he can try to get the leverage he needs. Because Kiribayama digging in the shoulder, similar to how Takayasu digs in the shoulder, forcing Wakatakakage to try to come around, which is exactly what he does, which feeds right into Kiribayama's game plan, because right after this, Kiribayama takes the step back and slaps him down. So a lot happening in such a short frame of time, but I think the MVP in this match is Kiribayama's left hand. Because you can see, again, right from the start, hand to the face, in control, pushing again on the inside, blocking with that left arm, and then slapping his man down. And that was what? A 10-second match? So much happening in so little time. These guys have so much speed. It's amazing. But yeah, that was Wakatakakage's first loss. And that is going to be his only loss for quite a while in this tournament. But now we kind of see, like, if he gets stopped up at the Tachi-ai by someone strong enough to be able to stop him, then, he has a little bit of a rough time with it.
Thank you for the follow.
Meisei versus Takakeisho, that's a little early. Shodai, still a little early.
Did Mita win? And I really like the fact that he is as
Here we go. This is a fantastic head-to-head. Wakatakakage versus Whole Shoryu on day 5.
Get money.
So coming into this match, we see, okay, Wakataka suffered his first loss. Might start waffling like he usually does. Lost to Kiribayama, who's a similar size to Whole Shoryu. Whole Shoryu, Shin Komusubi, trying to impress his uncle, looking really good. 50-50 match, coin flip match, I would call it, because Wakataka is no slouch either. What happens in this match? False start from Wakataka. Wakataka gets really low, driving forward, and just like in those first few matches, he has all of the good push and all of the momentum. So even against the smaller opponent like Whole Shoryu, you can see, leading with that left wide stance, getting deep, low, inside, Whole Shoryu can't respond. And we can see, he's diving headlong into Whole Shoryu's chest. Whole Shoryu doing the same thing, trying to dive into Wakataka, but Wakataka is just a little bit lower. Like you can see the hairline is a bit lower, his chin is lower, his ear is lower, just everything about Wakatakakage is lower than Whole Shoryu right now. So when they finally do meet, Wakataka has the push, has the leverage, that left foot out wide again. Look at how far out his knee is going, and his foot is pointing at this guy right here. So those outward pointing feet, the extra surface area he gets from being able to push back when he does make that step, that matters. It's a very little bit, but that does indeed matter. So now Wakataka simply overpowering Whole Shoryu. Whole Shoryu has to get low. His back is a little bit straightened too, but you can see his back foot very low, trying to reach that Tawada so he can generate some force. But right now, this entire push is just against Whole Shoryu right now. Wakataka, you can see he's the one leaning forward into this. He's the one pushing his body forward, whereas Whole Shoryu has to prop his back up against the attack to try to stop it, but he's just sliding back. At this time, nothing stops Wakatakakage's push until they meet the Tawada, at which point now we can see Wakataka is at Whole Shoryu's side. This is not a favorable position for Whole Shoryu. And in trying to recover, you could see his foot taking a huge step from all the way over here to all the way over here to try to recover. And in the time it takes for Whole Shoryu to regain balance from being turned around, Wakataka changes up the attack. Now he's not head into the chest, he is arms to the face and neck. So this is like a very fast onslaught from Wakatakakage, and it converts into the eventual push out, which pretty much everything in those last 2-3 seconds was extra, because at that point Wakataka had already earned the dub, unless there was some wild and crazy, edge shenanigans. But at that point of the match, Wakataka was in full control, and it would have taken a miracle for Whole Shoryu to win it. And again, you can see it's all of the force being generated. Like, I give Hokuto Fuji and Onosho a lot of credit for having explosive Tachi-ai. I give Takakeisho, like, probably the strongest Tachi-ai right now. But when you see something like this from Wakatakakage, there's no denying that he has one of the strongest initial charges. It's a full-bodied charge from Wakatakakage.
4-1 for Wakataka.
And after the first trimester, he is 4-1. Looking really freaking good. Let's see, Ichinojo versus Ura.
Wakatakakage with a very nice win there. And
Come on.
Takanosho is 7-4 in the head.
Here we see Wakatakakage versus another abysmal man. Takanosho. I don't know what was wrong with Takanosho this tournament either, but he just did not show up. But we did break down Takanosho the one time. He likes to lead with the inside. Thank you for the follow, 10-2005 draw. But for Takanosho, we know he likes to lead with the left hand to the face, right hand down inside to the chest. So outside left, inside right, or at the very least, high left, low right. Wakataka, considering he leads with his own left, it's my initial guess is Wakataka is probably going to get to the outside of Takanosho's right, but we'll see. Because that's not what happens here. Takanosho actually goes on the better push here, but his a little chaotic approach to it gives Wakatakakage the chance to get back into the match, and from there, Wakatakakage is granted victory. So right here, I was just praising Wakatakakage for having a very strong Tachi-ai. Now, he actually loses the Tachi-ai to Takanosho. So Takanosho, similar to Kiribayama, inside left, elbow inside left, blocking Wakatakakage's inside right, which, again, you don't usually see that kind of attack from Takanosho. Usually that left hand would go up to the face, but this time he uses it inside left to block. Now, from there, he has also the inside right, and you could see him pulling back the inside left to start attacking over and over again. Wakataka, trying to defend against this, puts his inside left, or his inside right against the chest, but in that one quick flash, Takanosho has a really strong push right to the chest, throwing Wakataka off balance. So now, Wakataka has to recover. He takes a few steps back towards the Tawada, and he does manage to build up all the leverage he needs against the Tawada. You can see his foot completely fanned out against it. Knees out. Thighs looking like a frog right now, ready to jump. And this is where he takes, this is a really big risk. Wide step out to the right, foot planted on the Tawada, and you can see how close that is right there. There's a couple of inches between his heel and the sand right there. Very big risk he took, but it pays off because from here, Takanosho overcommits to the attack and actually allows Wakataka back inside the ring, fearing the slap out. So, on the follow-up attack, Takanosho does get hands right up to the chest, right to the arm, but you can see Wakataka catching this right arm with his left. So you can see big bicep right here, catching the attack, and then he has his inside hand also stopping the momentum from Takanosho. So he's preparing himself on the defense. This is full defense right now for Wakataka. Whereas Takanosho, like I said, won the Tachi-ai on the strong push. Manages to once again overcommit to the attack because we see Wakataka bends his back to dodge the attack, bends his back, pulls Takanosho's hand. You can kind of see through the fuzz, but he's pulling Takanosho's hand this way, away from him. So now he can go on the offensive because he manages to catch Takanosho here. Takanosho tried to, give him an elbow to the chest, but it doesn't really work out because now Wakataka leaning back. Well, now this is all going to spring forward into the attack, and he is going to launch his full offensive right at the side of Takanosho, where Takanosho, now he's getting manhandled, hand to the face from Wakataka. That outside left right up in the armpit to stop this inside right from Takanosho from doing anything. But here, Takanosho recovers a little bit. But we see, again, just like in the match against Hoshoryu, lower against the body, much lower center of gravity, a lot of leverage against the chest. So now that we have all this leverage against the chest, all he has to do is push forward, and Takanosho gives him that opportunity by pulling back, trying for the slap down, and doesn't work against Wakatakakage because he was already pushing forward. And on the follow-up attack, getting turned around, you can see the foot sliding like a hockey player on those skates. Foot slides all the way to the Tawada, stops his momentum, so now he can channel it forward against Takanosho.
Not getting.
But instead, he feints, moves back, and slaps down Takanosho at the edge.
Slaps down.
So overall, another really good defensive effort from Wakataka here. He almost had it lost. Again, just like he almost lost, or he did lose against Kitabayama. Learned from that. Took a risk at the edge. It pays off. He recovers, pushes back into the middle, and earns the well-fought victory against Takanosho. To my fiance's dismay. Because that's her favorite. But yeah, like a lot happening in that match. Takanosho on a really good offensive, pushing forward, overcommits to the attack, recovers, overcommits again. And then I guess this third time you could say he overcommitted a third time because he tried to go back on the attack against Wakatakakage. And usually a slapdown like that is due to overcommitting. It's due to pushing too far forward and letting yourself fall forward because you expected to get caught by your opponent. But that is not what happened here. Wakataka sidesteps him at the end, and that is all she wrote. 6 days, 5-1 for our eventual YUSHO winner as we get into the end of week 1, day 7.
His way out of the ring.
Wakataka versus Daieisho. So Daieisho is quite similar to Takanosho, I would say, with the Oshizumo leaning. But Daieisho, compared to people like Onosho, Hokuto Fuji, he leads with his arms like Abi does, whereas the other two I mentioned, Onosho, we already saw Wakataka beat Onosho, leads with his head, leads with the full body charges. So Daieisho leading with the arms, the hands to the face. Wakataka has already dealt with 2 Tachi-ai where he got hands to the face and lost both of the Tachi-ai, won one of the matches. What does he do against Daieisho here?
Wakatakakage versus Daieisho.
Daieisho leads with the forearm to the face, again decisively wins the Tachi-ai, but gets turned around and then gives Wakatakakage the advantage by giving up the side. So again, it's not like Wakatakakage is consistently winning his Tachi-ai. This is the 3rd Tachi-ai he's lost. And every single Tachi-ai he has lost has been because left hand inside. And you can see it right here, clear as day. Wakataka does indeed get lower. He is trying to charge low and forward, but Daieisho doesn't care about how low he goes because he's going to get that inside left, the forearm blocking the bicep and the shoulder, pops up Wakatakakage, and then attacks the face. And we can see that in the very next moment here. Exactly as I said. Daieisho pops up Wakatakakage, and now Daieisho is on the offensive. Wakataka tries to get low again, but Daieisho doesn't let it happen. Daieisho catches his face, wrenches it back upwards, and now Wakataka, on the retreat yet again, has to retreat to the Tawada, similar to how he did against Takanosho just yesterday. Foot all the way back, trying to generate leverage, gets stood up again, and right here he sees the opportunity to attack. You can see he's already sliding to the side. He has his left arm underneath the right arm of Daieisho to push him to the side, and that's how he gets to the next side. Modding for 3 chats? There are that many sumo chats? No, I don't mind the lurk. Lurkers are what keep the viewer number high. Yeah, you can see Wakataka with a very quick sidestep here, and you might be able to call this an overcommittal from Daieisho, or you could call it a misfire, or not even a misfire, but just a missed shot in general. That right hand, if that does hit the face of Wakatakakage, then he doesn't get sidestepped here. But because that right hand did miss from Daieisho, Wakataka takes advantage of the situation, shifts his body all the way over here, attacks the side, gets Daieisho off balance, and then, again, calling it early, but this is where the match is kind of won, because now Daieisho is at the edge, Wakatakakage is now going to be on the charge, and we know how he likes to do it. He wants to get low, down, into the chest, hands inside, and Daieisho has the chance to stop the charge, but then In trying to defend against this push, Wakataka pulls him all the way up. You can see those arms very high in the air. Wakataka chest to chest, double inside at this point. Gets Daisho all the way to the edge. And then even after this, just spins around Daisho. From here, it's pretty much over. 99% over at this moment, and everything after this is bonus. But you can see Daisho tippy toe on the Tawada. Like, damn, he's trying his best to stay in this. Good on him. Unfortunately, Wakataka got to the side, is gripping him from the back and the front, and there's really no way of fighting against that. So he just gets lifted up and thrown out of the ring. And I do apologize for the artifacting of the video, but that's just my VLC. There's not too much I can do about that, except maybe update my graphics card. But yeah, that was another example of Wakatakakage losing the Tachi. So if we want to count it like this, currently he's 4-3 when it comes to the Tachi, but he is now 6-1 on the tournament. Does that tell us that he's very good at the defense? Maybe. Because he is good at making his opponent overcommit to an attack. You know, being smaller, he is also quicker than the other Rikishi. And these guys are used to the larger, more lumbering types like Aoyama and Ichinojo and Takakeisho and Shodai. Like, Shodai is not very quick at the edge. But because Wakatakakage is smaller, more wiry, he's quicker at the edge. These guys are probably not used to that. So using that twice now, 2 days in a row against Takanosho, against Daisho, gets these really solid wins based on baiting his opponents in to an attack that they think they can land because they know they can land it against other guys. Know what I mean? So 6-1 for Wakatakakage as we head into the halfway point of the tournament. Most of the clips are from earlier matches. But pardon me. Shodai versus Kiribayama. Do we have a Wakataka versus an Ozeki here? Because Shoryu versus Mita. Nice, cute little mouse. Onosho. Where's Wakataka? Some Minecraft. Is the worst death sign. There he is. Wakatakakage versus another man who had an abysmal tournament in Uda. 1-6 for Uda. Wakataka, like Uda, famous for going low and trying to get lower than his opponents. So you have to wonder. I would say it's kind of a similar style because Wakatakakage does like to get very low. Uda usually gives his opponent space so he can get up and underneath them. So I do have to wonder how this Tachi is going to go. Here we go. The match is about to begin. Uda is always a character. And drop from behind, more or less, is the translation. You got it. Wakatakakage and Uda. So right off the Tachi, Uda is the one to get low, but doesn't have enough power to really stop Wakatakakage. And again, reeling back into the middle of the ring, Wakataka still fighting it strong, taking it carefully until he can finally get his chest to chest that he wants, and then he gets the Yorikiri. And Yorikiri, Wakatakakage. There was a lot going on in this match. It's pretty back and forth for such a short match. You got it. We can see, like, right off the Tachi, I would call this an even Tachi. I don't think anyone particularly wins it or loses it, because this is classic Uda being Uda, getting really low, trying to disrupt the more offensive style Tachi from Wakatakakage. Wakataka does get that inside right, but I think that's what Uda wants because he opts for the outside left to the rib cage, possibly to try to turn Wakataka to the side. As you can see, right here, we have this really nice handprint from Uda, and he wants to generate the power to turn him to the side so he can then attack the side. But Wakataka stands firm against the attack as Uda squares himself up. Uda trying to get lower, head into the collarbone right there. That's something that's difficult to deal with. So Wakataka pushes forward against Uda's attack. Instead of trying to go backwards against Uda, he opts to go forward, which Uda, now standing himself up straighter, kind of didn't expect that and might have thought he was going to be thrown off balance. So takes another step back, tries to get lower again, tries to rebuild that leverage, because you can see he went from like standing up to wiggling his hips all the way back now, so he can get this leverage right there. So
Getting a nice
how does it proceed from here? Well, Uda
charge
gets
in.
on the push now. Uda windmill moving his arms as a Wakataka tries to get those double inside, which he does now. You can see this right elbow right inside. That left hand was also to the head, but and I don't exactly know why. Maybe it's because Uda pulled back right there. Uda pulls back really quick. Wakataka tries to slap for the belt, and I think that's what the play was. Wakataka got his hands inside and then wanted to grab Uda. Uda, sensing that that might be happening, and because he did find himself in a very unfavorable double outside position, takes the step back, dodges the attack, and now Uda has the inside right. They both have the inside right. Uda a little bit lower, but oh my god, look at Wakatakakage's legs here. Look at this left leg. Look at the leverage. Like, he is low. His hips are low. It's almost even with his knee. Like, that's a squat position. He's getting up underneath the squat rack for this right now. Like, that is a shitload of leverage coming into these glutes and pushing up against Uda. And you could see that this force is pushing up against Uda because he has his right bicep underneath that left armpit of Uda. So he is in a really good spot right here. It's, you might think that I'm way over analyzing this one frame, but that is incredible strength in these legs right here, because we can see takes a step forward and Uda knows that that's a dangerous position, so he opts for the step back slap down attempt, which only lets Wakatakakage attack even harder as he leaps forward and nearly overcommits to the attack himself, which he's taken advantage of two wrestlers for overcommitting to their attacks. He's not going to fall for it. So, stepping forward, now Uda is at the edge of, or at the side of Wakataka. So how is, like, look at Wakatakakage's feet over here. They're way too close together. They're in line with each other, and they are not facing an opponent. They're facing outside of the ring. So this is a very, very bad spot for Wakataka. He does manage to keep those arms out and keep Uda at bay. So you can see his arms are up and at the chest, keeping Uda away as Uda continues to retreat, try to slap down the arms. We can see right there, grab the shoulders, tried to slap down, didn't work, and now he's holding the shoulder, the left shoulder. Or, Wakataka is holding Uda's left shoulder away because he has this inside right here. Uda, his left hand, can't really do much except try to generate the force to turn Wakataka around, but that's not really going to be happening because his legs are not underneath him. His legs are too far back, so he can't generate any kind of power from his body. He just has the strength of his arm right now to try to turn Wakataka, and that's not going to be enough because we can see Wakataka's position. He has his legs underneath him. He has that stanced out wide like he usually does, and he has a solid base, so he can resist this attack right here.
all the way to the edge.
They settle in the middle of the ring, and again, look at how wide Waka's base is. Look at how wide his base is, his feet pointing outwards in both directions, because he's not driving forward right now. He's just trying to stabilize himself and maintain himself. And he has whatever the opposite of pigeon-toed is, because these feet are so wide. Because you can see Uda, he's stepping forward, but Wakataka, he's got his feet fanned out for maximum leverage in these pushes. Like that back right foot doing a lot of work for him to try to get more grip, to try to get more leverage. Uda going back on the attack, head to head right here. Uda lower, but Wakataka creating the separation he needs. Slap down, not going to work. And now Uda has the inside left on this shoulder muscle of Wakataka, which Wakataka immediately fights off, tries for the inside grip on the belt. And from here, like I said at the very beginning of this match, Uda likes to try to get low against Wakataka, but now Wakataka is also just as low. So chest to chest, even leverage, who is going to have the stronger push? And I think at this point, it simply comes down to who is stronger. And it is going to be Wakataka with the stronger push and the Yorikiri.
Yorikiri, Wakatakakage.
So, in this match against two very wily, very smart men,
Kage and Uda.
Just really good offense and really good defense both ways.
Uda getting a nice charge in. Wakatakakage.
I would call this a 50-50 Tachi. No one really winning it or losing it.
Inside the center of the ring now.
Yeah, you have to wonder too, like
grab the belt. Uda,
when they're just moving in the ways that I describe as I break them down, like is that kind of just instinct at that point? The fact that he has his feet wide, the fact that he's moving his arms in certain ways. Because maybe I'm psyching myself out when I say that I'm overanalyzing these matches, but there are a lot of little things happening, and at this point it has to be some kind of, just they practice so many matches, they know exactly how they want to move their body, and at some point it becomes that second nature where they know, like, this is how I want to attack in this situation, and they don't even think about it. They just have to move their body in the right way. Whereas when you get into like Wakataka versus Ichinojo, which is going to be coming up soon, where they're leaning against each other for literally 70 seconds, they have a lot of time to think about their attack. Day 9. We have Wakataka on the brink of a Kachikoshi. Let's see. Wakatakakage versus Ichinojo. And this is a fun one, because it's like 20 seconds of action, a minute of inaction, then another 20 seconds of action.
Here we go. Ichinojo with a nice slap to the face.
Ichinojo, I would say he decisively wins the Tachi here, but Wakataka recovering from the Tawara, and now Wakataka getting lower against the much bigger man. And from here, they're basically stalemated for 70 seconds. So we're going to skip ahead. Okay. So basically for that 70 seconds, they're stalemated in this exact position. Ichinojo keeping those inside hands locked together so Wakataka can't mount an even stronger attack. But Wakataka wiggling free, trying to get more leverage, and finally does get Ichinojo into the unfavorable double outside before finally getting the Yorikiri.
Yorikiri for Wakatakakage.
So going all the way back to the beginning of this match, which I cut down a lot because, I mean, look at this. This is sumo wrestling, yeah! But obviously the biggest moments are going to be this Tachi, which Ichinojo has the advantage on. Like, Ichinojo, much larger, not as fast or as agile as Wakataka, but just generating a lot more power here. That's actually really notable right there, too. Ichinojo getting the slap to the face, while Wakataka turns to the side. Like, this is not Wakataka's usual Tachi, and he knows he has to do something differently here. So the Craigasm is blocking this slap to the face from Ichinojo, but you can see it really quick. Ichinojo gets the slap and charges forward, but Wakataka leaps to the side. He doesn't even take the Tachi straight up. He leaps to the side of Ichinojo, leaps to that right side, and now he tries to get the leverage he needs. But Ichinojo, I said he's not as agile, but he is pretty quick. Turns his hips to meet Wakatakakage really fast. Like, so much faster than you would think for a man this large. And because he meets Wakataka so quickly, now Ichinojo is in the driver's seat. Ichinojo, you can see he's got this big fee fi fo fum leg moving forward. He's got that forearm inside to the chest, and you know he's going to push it out to push Wakatakakage back. And now the question is, how does Wakatakakage respond, and how does he recover? So you can see, like, right here, he stumbles. He nearly loses right here. Look at this foot right here. He stumbles and he nearly falls. Like, this is an insanely good recovery from him. Manages to regain his footing and then slides all the way back to the Tawada. Really wide stance as per usual, generating so much leverage against the attack of Ichinojo. You can see, like, any man who comes up to the Tawada, really wide stance. This left foot does have the heel off the ground, but you can see a lot of force being generated into holding himself upright and making sure that he does not get pushed back any further, because if he does, then it's going to be all over. So that is a really nice stance for Wakatakakage, who manages to, in that quick moment, attack with the outside left, forcing Ichinojo's hand inside. And then when Ichinojo goes for the grip, he pulls back. And look at the space he makes. He pulls back and grabs the forearm of Ichinojo. So Ichinojo, now he can't move his hand down to the belt. It's stuck up in the armpit right now. Can't move to the belt. Can't pull it away, because if he does pull it away, then Wakatakakage pushes forward, and now they're back in the middle of the ring. So Ichinojo tries to shimmy himself back and then go for the throw, using that right arm kind of as a little bit of leverage. He goes for the throw with the left over here, and you can see he's going for, like, before Wakatakakage leapt forward to try to catch himself, it looked like a Katasukashi attempt from Ichinojo. But Wakatakakage leaps forward, and again, like, look at this squat position. This thigh is straight with his knee. Like, this is a fantastic squatting position. He is generating so much power in these, in these hammies. Oh, why is that so thin? Generating so much power in these hammies, in these glutes. Like, damn, look at this guy's legs. White on. And from here, now he's back in the center of the ring, and this is where things start to get awkward, because now Ichinojo, outside left, trying to keep that inside right, because he does not want to give up the double inside. He knows he's big, and he knows that when he gives up double inside, he is pretty easy to move. So he's doing his damnedest to not give it up. And this is where that, this low stance, again, he pushes up. Like, damn, what is your squat max, my man? He definitely does not skip leg day. What's up, Ikoma? Pushing forward now is Wakataka, and Ichinojo. Ichinojo manages to find himself getting turned around at the Tawada, and this is where they get stalemated. And we can see in this stalemate, Wakatakakage has his hand on the belt. You do not want to give up the grip on the belt. He has his other hand trying to attack the inside as well, but Ichinojo is blocking it. And the way Ichinojo is blocking it is with his outside left and his own right hand, locking them together, gripped together, so Wakatakakage can't attack with a double inside. So now, this is just stalemate position. And they are stuck like this for 70 seconds. Because Ichinojo, and you see they're zooming in right here, Ichinojo has his own left hand around his right, because he wants that inside right. But Wakatakakage, you can see the way he's gripping the wrist, he wants to pull the wrist out and away. So this is literally a tug of war. Wakatakakage trying to pull that arm out and away so he can get inside, whereas Ichinojo using this hand to pull inside so he can keep the grip where it is. And this tug of war lasts for 70 seconds. There are a few moments where you think it's going to be broken.
Trying to break the grip of resetting as Ichinojo has.
And here you can see Ichinojo, he's losing his grip. He's losing his grip on his arm. And when he does, Wakatakakage will pull that right hand down, get that left shoulder down inside, go chest to chest with Ichinojo with double inside grip, and get the win. You can see, here it comes. Rocks Ichinojo up and off balance. And there it is. Now, at this point, he doesn't care that Ichinojo is locking his arms together because he has all of the leverage he needs, generating enough forward momentum to push Ichinojo back. And here we can see Ichinojo right himself forward again. And you can see right down here, he finally does have the grip of Ichinojo's right hand, and Ichinojo is doing his best to keep that right hand inside. He's keeping that elbow low, forearm in, whereas Wakatakakage, his elbow is very far in, grip on the forearm of Ichinojo, trying to wrestle it and wrench it outside. So from here, Wakataka brings the hand up into his chest. So right now, they're basically holding hands like right here in their boobs. And Wakataka, because he has this inside hand on the belt, he has better leverage, belly to belly. His belly is lower than Ichinojo's belly. His belt is lower. His legs are lower. He's in a better squatting position. Everything is just in a better position for Wakatakakage. And even though Ichinojo attempts to switch the grip inside, it's already too late. He's already being pushed back, and he already gives it up. Need to open up that task manager and kill some processes so you can watch my stream, I see.
That was some fantastic Yosuzumo from Wakatakakage.
Excuse me.
Showing incredible power.
Yeah, fantastic match from both men right there. As we move into day 10, the end of the second trimester. Takayasu versus Whole Shoryu. After this, we have an Abi match. Abi versus Wakatakakage. 1 second. So now this is a match where I would think it's going to be similar to the Daisho match, similar to the Takanosho match. Abi is going to go high. Wakatakakage is going to lose the Tachi-ai, and we're going to see Abi overcommit to an attack. Wakatakakage give him the sidestep, give him the slip, and earn the victory. First, we see an Abi false start. Abi does indeed go high, but Wakataka is the one to win the Tachi-ai here. He's the one that moved forward, stayed inside Abi the entire way. And Wakatakakage earns the win after getting a little bit bloodied.
What a fantastic.
So another really quick match for Wakataka, especially after such a long one against Ichinojo. But we can see right here, Abi doing that classic hands to the shoulders move. We've seen it the past two Basho where we analyzed his matches. Hands up to the shoulders. Wakataka, he puts his arms low. Like he is scooping these arms up so he can try to parry Abi. That's kind of what he does, because now they're both standing up. Abi does have some leverage right here, but we can see Wakatakakage, even though he's not doing any Tsupari attack, he is generating a lot of leverage in this back right leg as well. So now, oops, getting turned a little bit to the side. Hold on, I want to see how that happened. I want to see how they got turned to the side like that. It might have been Abi stepping to the side to try to get to a better angle of attack here. Yes, it's actually it looked like Wakataka kind of stumbled forward into this different angle of attack. So now game plan changes. Wakataka looks like he still has the double inside attack. Although the hands are to the chest for Abi, Wakataka is holding his ground against this attack. And even though he does get kind of flung out to the side like he just did, Abi, he is not having the best time. He's not putting up his best attacks. Like, you can see his arm all the way back here. He wants to, bam, piston it straight into Wakatakakage. But at this point, he's way too far out. He needs to be able to get closer. And so he does throw that forearm forward, not in the kind of Tsupari attack you would like to see, but he does manage to get hand to the neck and face. Wakatakakage is actually fighting it back. You can see, again, this right arm, we have a better angle of it, and underneath the armpit, parrying the attack. So another good parry from Wakatakakage here as they go pixelated like it's one of those Japanese AVs, because what Wakatakakage is about to do to this man is disgusting. So Wakatakakage keeps pushing forward, his stance very wide, strong, stalwart, those legs giving him an insane base that he can't get pushed back, whereas Abi is basically thrusting at a brick wall right here. And this is where one of Abi's weaknesses is. You can see his hands kind of slip back around the neck of Wakatakakage as he leans really far forward into this attack. He is stood almost completely straight up, whereas Wakatakakage, again, look at how low his hips are, look at the stance on his legs, look at how beefy these quads and hammies are. And he just survives the onslaught. And now, again, parrying these attacks from Abi throwing the kitchen sink at him, and nothing is doing. Like, another forearm attack to the face, lunging forward, and Wakataka takes it in stride, just takes the step back, absorbs the attack, and now Abi, last-ditch effort, tries to take the step back into the slapdown attempt. Might have grabbed a little bit of hair right there, but it doesn't even matter, because in this slapdown attempt, just gives Wakatakakage the belly to give the bear hug and charge through him.
Gets the win. Wakatakakage 9-1.
Wakatakakage 9-1 at the end of the second trimester. And this was more convincing than his other victories against the other Oshizumo wrestlers. Because like I said, he lost the Tachi-ai against Daisho and lost the Tachi-ai against Takanosho. This time, similar styled man, he wins the Tachi-ai. Pardon me, I'm just drinking some water. So now, we've seen, like, his consistency and his strength is very, very good this tournament. I'm not going to say it's good in general, because he has been sluggishly moving his way up the Banzuke, which, I mean, consistency in getting those 8 and 7s, 9 and 6s to get here in the first place is definitely one thing, but I do want to see him have the consistency at the very tippy top, because, you know, this is a bit of a tangent, but we've seen Shodai get a lot of shit because he is so wildly inconsistent as an Ozeki, and I don't want that kind of thing to fall onto Wakatakakage should he continue to succeed. So I want this to be the norm for Wakataka. I don't want him losing those Tachi-Eyes against Takanosho. I don't want him, you know, having to fight at the edge against Daisho, that kind of thing. I want him to constantly be winning Tachi-Eye.
The lead.
Now here we get to see Wakatakakage versus Takayasu round 1. And this match is pretty surprising, because you think Takayasu, much bigger, much more muscular, much fatter, you think he's the one with the strength. He's the one that constantly stops up other men at the Tachi-Ai. Against Wakatakakage, like, how can Wakatakakage compete against the strength of the grizzly bear Takayasu? And the answer may surprise you.
And ready, respecting his elder, nodding him on. Nice charge.
The answer is he can't. Because Wakatakakage gets low, gets the double inside, and then walks it forward. As simple as driving those legs and tosses Takayasu out of the ring to dole out his first loss and join that YUSHO race. So now at the very start of this match, you think, like, oh, this is actually a very even Tachi-Ai, but we can see already from the start, Wakataka low, inside, exactly where he likes to be. Takayasu hand on this elbow out here, Left hand on that right elbow of Wakataka,
Nice try.
trying to push it up, and Wakataka knows it. So his response, he pulls out the arm and then reattacks it. That windmill attack that we like to see. But that gives Takayasu the hand to the shoulder, which is what Takayasu wants. So now, this big thrust, you could see it ripple in Takayasu's fat. It rippled, and it didn't do much. Didn't do much damage right there. But that gave Waka the opportunity to get the hand into the armpit to now parry this attack from Takayasu. And then Takayasu tries to do the same thing where he pulls back the left arm, but his attack, the follow-up, wasn't very good because he pulled his arm back and then he just kind of put it right here on the outside of Wakataka's right arm. So not nearly as much force in his counter attack, but you can see what he's going for here as he moves the hand back inside. Now he has doubled inside to the chest as Wakataka attempted the slap down, which not going to work. So now Wakataka manages to move forward as Takayasu tries to dig deeper, get lower, and we can't even see his head because he's burying it in Wakataka's chest to try to get that leverage he needs. Wakataka, again, oh my god, this man's legs. Low hips. A lot of leverage being pushed up, so he does not get pushed back. Good foot position so that he does not get pushed back. Like he has some glue on his feet or something because he is not moving in the face of these huge attacks. Digs in these feet on this slippery ass dohyo. Like, how does he do it? He has to be like, you know, out in the NFL, wide receivers would use like sticky spray on their gloves or some shit. He must be doing that with the soles of his feet because holy crap, being able to withstand that charge from Takayasu, look at how wide his stance is. I wasn't kidding earlier when I said his legs look like frog's legs. Like, holy cow. Wide stance, hips low, legs low. He is in the perfect stance to squat, except he needs to bring this left foot forward, which he does in just a moment, as Takayasu tries to use a high forearm to fight him off. But when he does this, this is what gives Wakataka the inside, because you can see the elbow coming out, the forearm to the neck. He's trying to push against Wakataka, but Wakataka's not moving. So after this attack fails, his arm slips out and has to become the outside arm, which Wakataka already has the inside right. So that right forearm is everything Takayasu needs in the attack right now, and it slips outside, can't do anything, and from here, it's an easy win. Excuse me, I've had the hiccups for some reason. But it is the Wakataka Yorikiri countering the attack, parrying the attack so well. His defense is on point, and his stance makes it so that he doesn't even move in the face of this danger. Like, he needs someone like Ichinojo to push as hard as he can, and maybe he will slip, but even Takayasu can't push back Wakatakakage. So 10-1 for Wakataka as we head into day 12.
Going for the throat, but Taka no show. Down. With 10 plus wins here,
Wakatakakage versus Kotonowaka up next.
Every win hereafter will only aid him in his quest. So far, after after forgetting Condole and Wakatakakage and Kotonowaka about to be underway.
Wakataka getting lower, but he manages to get pushed back all the way to the edge, but recovers off the Tawada. Still low, still inside right on the belt and on those Sagari. Kotonowaka trying to counter in the same way Ichinojo tried to counter just the other day, but it doesn't work. Wakatakakage takes the win. Another Yorikiri at the edge for someone who I would not expect to get so many Yorikiri against so many big men. Like, oh my goodness. He just has... I seriously want to know what his workout regimen is so I can get legs like that. Holy crap. Yeah, let's see it here. Tachi, we see its usual. Oh, cameraman is smoking something today. He's working for the WWE right now. We could see, even just from this angle, Wakataka's head is so low, it's actually just inside of all four titties of Kotonowaka right now. Kotonowaka had the inside left, but opts for the outside, so he gives up this right arm to Wakataka. And we can see just a really strong push because he also has right hand to the chest here. So Kotonowaka, the reason why he opted for this outside is so he can pull up the armpit, try to get that belly to belly leverage while he pushed forward with that inside right as well. But Wakataka, when he makes his way all the way to the edge, recovers off the Tawada here, and you can see again these frog's legs generating so much strength and power that Wakataka bounds forward, and this is possibly also a pull attempt from Kotonowaka, which is not a bad idea. I'll give him that. And that's something I do talk about a lot, to go on another tangent, is knowing the push and the pull, the flow of battle. So when you push your opponent, he's going to lean forward to absorb the blow. So that's when you want to pull him. But then when you pull him, he's going to lean back to resist the pull, and that's when you push him. You keep rocking him back and forth like that until eventually he falls over, like perforated paper where you have to keep bending it back and forth until it finally snaps. Here, though, Kotonowaka, I think he was a little too ambitious on that pull, because as soon as Wakatakakage hit the Tawada, he opts for the step back and the pull, because we saw like his body was completely square, pushing this way, and then he swings that right leg all the way out. He swings his hips square out this way, now facing that way, trying for the pull around this arm, and we can't see what the right arm is doing, but I have to imagine that he's locked it with his left like Ichinojo did the other day to try to go for this throw, but it simply doesn't work because Wakataka takes a big stride, catches that left leg, walks it forward, and another quick hop with that left leg to re-square himself and center himself against Kotonowaka. And now Kotonowaka trying to fight him off. You can see, again, hand comes up underneath to the chest to try to push Waka up, but Waka is just so low. He's so much leverage all the way down here, just pushing straight into the chest of Kotonowaka. Wakatakakage. Have the same kanji. Go for a throw. But at this point, it's very difficult for Kotonowaka to win because he doesn't have inside right on the body. He has it on the shoulder, but I mean, this is where Wakataka wants to be. Inside right, fighting for the inside left as well. And it's just a matter of time until he uses all of that lower leverage to just dip his shoulder down, get the hand to the belt, and then push it forward. And you could see, very briefly, you saw them fighting with those arms. And now, Wakataka actually has the grip on Kotonowaka's arm. So because he's in control, that's uncomfortable for Kotonowaka because you can see his hand is all the way out here. Kotonowaka is not in control of this forearm, because if it was his control of his forearm, he would be throwing the elbow into the chest of Waka. But because it's being pulled to the side, he can't generate any force going this way to resist it. So now, because Waka has all of the force going up into the chest of Kotonowaka, he has the grip on the belt, he is completely in the driver's seat here. To fight for the inside left. And again, Kotonowaka goes for one last-ditch effort throw before getting yorikiri'd. 11-1 for Wakatakakage, the youngest of the Onami brothers. So as we get into day 13, he's looking completely unstoppable right now. See, that's Shodai. Wakataka versus Mitake Yumi. This is where I thought the fun is probably going to end. And Mitake Yumi would rejoin that YUSHO race. A lot of things would have to go a lot of ways for there to be a chance at the playoff. But let me drink my water. Wakataka versus Mitake Yumi.
Wakatakakage getting
Mitake Yumi blasting Wakataka all the way to the edge and getting Yorikiri'd.
There's nothing doing. Wakatakakage had no.
And in a world where we thought Wakatakakage was completely unstoppable, now he looked like a baby being escorted outside of the crib.
Wakatakakage getting
Mitake Yumi just getting the inside left to counter Wakataka's attack that he usually likes to go for. He likes to go for that inside right. Mitake Yumi counters with the inside left right off the Tachi-ai. And this is the most decisive loss of Wakatakakage's tournament so far. You can see it right here, inside left from Mitake Yumi. And Wakatakakage is not low like he likes to be. He is not as low, he's not as down and as driving. The head is almost even. You can see the chin is almost even with Mitake Yumi's chin. The hairline, kind of even there. The top of the head, not too far away too. So you can see, he did not get the Tachi-ai he wanted. And I think it's as simple as that. He did not get the Tachi-ai he wanted. And Mitake Yumi generating too much power off of the massive inside left. Mitake Yumi earns an easy win against the YUSHO winner, and boy did he make it look easy. It's too bad that Mitake Yumi couldn't compete for the YUSHO, but you know, him being Ozeki is another story. That was Wakatakakage's worst match of the tournament by far. Like, even in his loss against Kiribayama, it was back and forth, and there was some strategy there. This time, though, that was just bad. That was just bad. No offense right there, and I think it was simply a bad Tachi-ai. So now coming into day 14, there's still a lot on the line.
But Mitake Yumi had won here, then special prize in July, September, and every
Here we go.
tournament thereafter.
Wakatakakage versus Takakeisho in the Musubi no Ichiban. Takakeisho had already secured anti-Kadoban status. He will not be getting demoted to Sekiwake. Shin-Sekiwake Wakatakakage. And this is where I'm a little confused too, because he lost a Tachi-ai against Onosho, lost it against, you know, other arm-based pusher thrusters like Daisho Takanosho, lost it completely against Mitake Yumi. So you would think the strongest Tachi-ai, Wakatakakage, probably loses the Tachi-ai here against Takakeisho, who has the strongest Tachi-ai, I think, right now. So what happens in this match is a little surprising in a good way. Because Takakeisho does get the good Tachi-ai here, but Wakatakakage recovers off the Tawada and gets inside, which is exactly what Takakeisho hates. So it's really quick, again, less than 10 seconds for a match, but let's watch that again real quick. Takakeisho, hands to the chest, and it's possible the reason why Wakataka was able to recover is because it's Oshi hands to the chest and not inside left hand to the belt. Because that gives him the space he needs to get to the Tawada, and then look, he immediately dives his head down. He dives his head down into the chest of Takakeisho, and that's where Takakeisho usually wants to be. So now Wakataka is lower than Takakeisho. He catches Takakeisho's entire body with his neck. And I mean, you kind of have to when you have trap muscles like that. God damn! He catches the entirety of Takakeisho with his neck and his straightened leg, which are two things you never want to do as a normal human being. And from here, Wakataka has the grip on the belt, and generally that means it's all over for Takakeisho. He does not like it when his belt gets gripped, because he usually loses. And that's what happens here. So, Takakeisho went too high, allowed Wakatakakage to get down and inside, and from here, Wakatakakage just generates all that power to push Takakeisho all the way back to the other edge of the ring. And here, we get into some Tsupari, some Yotsuzumo either way, but again, Wakatakakage seizes opportunity while he's at an arm's length to dive that head down into the chest of Takakeisho again. And, oops. And using that opportunity, Takakeisho attempting a throw around that arm, but Wakataka slips it all the way to the back to get a grip on the belt. And from here, now he can't get thrown. He has a strong grip on the knot of the belt. And from here, not getting rocked back to the other side, because look at this leg, dude. It's so far outstretched. He's trying to kick me in the head right now. Look at that. And that's what helped him resist the throw, because Takakeisho tried to throw him this way and then tried to rock him back the other way, but that's like hammering a stake into the ground right there. You cannot throw Wakataka when he's using that leg as his base. And from here, he makes it to that coveted 12-2 record. Chest to chest, it's only a matter of time, because this is not the Shodai side antics that we would usually see. Takakeisho knows he's beat. He walks it back, and that is another win for Wakatakakage. 12-2 on the tournament.
And now tomorrow is infinitely more interesting.
Pardon me.
Wakatakakage and
The final day.
Takayasu.
Day 15, where we get to see Wakatakakage fight twice.
That's not exactly the storyline we're going
Wait,
for.
that's the first match, or the second match.
Uncle will be less angry. Up to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Nakanosho versus Sadaomi. Takayasu versus Abi.
Long Play YouTube channel, which is just basically re-uploads of all of
Takayumi versus Takakeisho, and then Shodai versus Wakatakakage in what I think is a complete shocker, not just because Shodai won. Well, actually, it's mostly because Shodai won. So in this match, you might be able to argue that the pressure was completely on Waka's shoulders, because Takayasu had lost. And if Waka wins here, he gets the Outstanding Performance Prize as well as the YUSHO, because it was a conditional Outstanding Performance if he were to get 13 wins, but he didn't. And we'll get into why in just a moment. Shodai, recovering Kadoban Ozeki, earned his 8th win, and now is pushing for that 9th.
Shodai taking the charge.
Shodai catching Wakatakakage,
At the side now,
getting his hips way far back too, so Wakataka has a hard time gripping the belt. Shodai pushing forward, that leading with his right leg too.
There is going to be a playoff.
That was a really interesting attack from Shodai right there, which attack from Shodai is not something you usually get to say. But we can see right here, it's about an even Tachi-ai. I might lean into a Wakatakakage wins it camp, because he gets his usual Tachi-ai. He's low. He's leading with that left foot. Shodai catches him with that outside right. We see that Wakataka has his own inside right. And then Wakataka tries to fight around this right arm from Shodai here, because Shodai has the arm into the armpit of Waka. We saw Waka try to go high. Now he's trying to go low, trying to parry this attack from Shodai. But we see Shodai does get parried here. Now Wakataka has the arm up in the armpit, and he's the one driving forward. Shodai puts that left leg forward to try to stop the attack, and it's really difficult for him. But Shodai, he's standing strong. Like, I don't understand how he continued to hop around on that one leg to survive this attack. Wakataka, hands up to the face, And at this point, I think Wakataka is not in his best position because he's standing up. He's standing straight up. His legs are not bent in the usual way. His hips are very high. And you can see it right here. Like, his hips are very high. His shoulder, very high. He's not usually in this position. This is not his usual attacking position here. And as a result, Shodai gets to wrap his arm around the right inside of Wakataka, wiggles his hips away, and Waka does lose the grip on the belt. And I think he does almost manage to regain it, but at this point, Shodai uses this right hip and this right leg to push forward, and Waka, going back to that stance, his feet are wide, yes, but he's in line. You always want to have your feet kind of staggered so that you aren't on the same line. So it's harder to move you. But he takes a step back, and Shodai, from this position, starts walking it forward because, again, Waka stands himself up straight. It's not his usual attacking position. His hips are very high. His legs are not anywhere near as bent as they usually are. Shoulders high. And I'm not sure if this is because Shodai is pulling him up or if it's because Waka is opting for this attack himself. But we can see Shodai, hand on the shoulder right down here, parrying this attack from Waka. And from here, Shodai walks that hip forward. It looks like Wakataka might be trying to pull back, like trying to retreat from whatever is going on, what we can't see through the head, but it looks like Shodai has the outside right and is simply pushing forward with this hip. Again, this hip, this arm, this shoulder, he is leading the entire charge with the entire right side of his body, and Waka can't do anything about Shodai's 50% of his body. This entire left half of the body is lagging behind. No, I'm just trying to make a joke. Shodai generating a lot of leverage with that left leg back in what you would normally consider a very unfavorable position because he's leading with the hip. He's leading from the side. And when you have your opponent at the side, generally you can get low underneath them under the armpit and then just like pop them up and out. But that doesn't happen for Waka. Shodai stands him up, which is not where Waka wants to be, and then leads him out of the ring. So
there is going to be a play.
That was a very well done from Shodai.
There is still hope for Taco Bear.
And then, of course, from here, we get into the playoff, which, spoiler alert, is my #1 match in my top 10 matches of the Haru Basho. Be sure to catch that video live on my YouTube channel this Wednesday. Don't miss it here on my YouTube channels. There they are. Now, we've already seen Waka versus Takayasu, and Waka won very convincingly the first time. If you missed most of it, don't you worry, Hammer Smashed, because you can catch the VOD live on my YouTube channel tomorrow. Or if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for catching the VOD of the Wakatakakage breakdown on my YouTube channel. Please consider liking, subscribing, telling all of your friends, leaving a comment down below about how beautiful and sexy my voice is and how I have a face for radio. But yes, the first time around, it was a very convincing win from Wakataka, but I was saying that because Takayasu had fought earlier in the evening, it's possible that he was more well-rested and better equipped for this match. And this match definitely does show up and excite. Wakatakakage versus Takayasu in the playoff for the YUSHO with the Teru Pog. Takayasu with a very strong charge, but Wakataka deflects it, tries to stay to the side of Takayasu, not letting Takayasu get the straight up attack. Wakataka is not getting as low as he usually likes to, but finally here, going for the pull, which is something you never see him do. And he gets the pull out. And I think that's the first time I use the phrase Wakatakakage pulling this entire video. Because usually you see him pushing forward or retreating from the attack. But this is the first time he pulled out the pull all tournament. And yeah, that's emote worthy if it was a bit higher quality. But I think I only get the Abe in my feed at like 540p. Yeah, you get to see. And we're going to be breaking this down bit by bit. Fantastic charge. Oh, that's actually something new too. Wakataka leads. Two uncharacteristic things for Wakataka. Leading with the right foot and going for the pull. Like that is... He led with his left foot every single match of the 15 days. This time he leads with the right. That's crazy. Completely switching up his entire strategy on the final day. And I can't even tell you if this worked out for him or not. He led with the right foot. And then, because of the incredibly powerful charge from Takayasu, gets turned around. But that actually works in his favor. Because he deflects the attack from Takayasu. I think there's a reason why he did this on the final match, and it's because he probably knew if he had gone to the left, he takes the full force of that charge from Takayasu and he gets blasted onto his ass. He leads with the right, turns his left foot back around, deflects the attack, and now he has Takayasu in an uncomfortable position. And he is on the recharge right here. Not as low as he would like to be, but he does have hands to the chest, face to the chest. Takayasu is on the defensive now. Takayasu trying to make something happen with the inside right, and he is getting the good push. You can see it. Inside right on the chest right there for Takayasu. But Wakataka is trying to pull that left hand inside. You saw it. It was out here. Oh, it was out here, but he pulls it inside. So now he can try to push on the inside. Takayasu using that right forearm to block, not letting it happen. But now Takayasu, that forearm is getting turned inside. And now that is at Wakataka's mercy, unless he can push that forearm back up. And I'm using the wrong color right there, but that's okay. It's like I said, he pushes that elbow and the forearm up into the chest of Wakataka to try to generate some leverage, and he does. He stands up Wakataka, who does have his hips low, knees out, feet out, in a pretty good defensive position like he usually is, but forearm to the face. This is where Wakataka gets inside again. And instead of opting for inside left, he actually takes the step back to recenter himself, to make sure he is on solid ground. Because he could have reached for the belt right there. He could have gotten it. But he took the step back instead to make sure that he was on more solid ground, more stable footing. And I don't think that's a bad move either. Going for the Katatsukashi move right here, and now we get to see Takayasu. Look at these legs. Look at... What is wrong with these lines right now, dude? Look at these legs. Similar to how Wakataka was all Basho, that is a squat from our Papayasu right there. Survives the Katatsukashi attack, shuffling forward. And again, this was like the first pull move all tournament from Wakatakakage. So, two brand new things in this final match of the tournament for the trophy. Leads with his right, goes for a pull. You're right about that, Hammer Smash. They usually are pretty risky. And you can generally see why. It's because Takayasu is not the one getting thrown down. He's keeping his footing, he's keeping his center, he's keeping himself square, and now you have Wakataka's feet in a bad position, walking back. He's the one on the retreat right now, and he has to recenter his footing. Whereas Takayasu was happy to go along for the ride, and now has the opportunity to try to attack. But this is where Wakataka puts on his Uda cosplay. Now, instead of getting low with his legs, he gets low with his back. He leans really far forward, head to head, trying to get that head up underneath. And I wonder if that is an influence from Uda right there. But again, getting low, retreats on the attack so he can get his foot on the Tawada and maybe try to generate some more leverage from here. But Takayasu, I mean, I haven't mentioned him too much because we're going to be covering his matches later in the month because I do Sumo Sunday every Sunday here on my Twitch channel. Next week, we're going to be playing Guess the Banzuke. Don't you guys miss it. And maybe the week after that, we're going to be doing Takayasu. But right here, you can see Wakataka, now he's pushing forward. He has the wide stance like he usually does. Hips not as low as they usually are, again, but going for these thrusts to the chest, which, again, not something we usually talk about because he's usually going for a Yotsu-style match, which he probably wants to avoid against Takayasu because he knows that that's Takayasu's strength. So from here, Takayasu, he's the one shifting himself over to the right. He was the one slightly shuffling himself over to the right this way to try to get a better angle of attack and maybe do the old El Toro on Wakatakakage here to try to get him to miss an attack and then slap him down. But we see Takayasu, I mean, he's still getting squared up. Waka is keeping himself centered and square, and now those legs are getting low. Now he's generating a lot of pressure up into the chest of Takayasu. He has the arm under the armpit. He's pushing himself up right now to stand Takayasu upright. Takayasu survives the attack again. And here, Wakataka going for slaps to the back of the head. Like, it looks like he's playing the bongos on Takayasu's neck right now. Takayasu pushes forward for the attack, a little wild in this attempt too. And you can tell too, like, I mean, they're both square. I don't think this is a bad attack from Takayasu at all. But right here, Waka leaps to the side, and I think this is where he gets him, because Waka leaps, instead of leaping straight back, he leaps to the side over here, and you can see, after I delete this line, Takayasu's foot not prepared. He was not prepared to switch direction, because he expected to keep going this way, but now he has to attack this way, and because he's changing trajectory, a lot of the force is being taken out because he has to redirect himself. So now, after redirecting himself and readjusting his attack, this is where Waka, insane deflection. Just this right hand, pow, deflects the entire attack from Takayasu. And you can see that leg so low on the Tawada, and that's where I thought Waka was going to lose. This is honest to God where I thought he was going to lose and that knee was going to touch down. But manages to keep his footing, leans back against the Tawada. After deflecting Takayasu's attack, Takayasu is still relentless in his attack, actually manages to recenter himself just enough to be able to get the hand to the chest as Wakataka slaps his belt, gets a grip on the belt on the side here, and I think he uses that to pull himself stable. And in pulling himself stable, now he needs to get the fuck out of the way so Takayasu doesn't tackle him out of the ring. Because now, like, if I could go back by just frames, that would be amazing. But just watch his feet on the Tawada. I'll try to pause before, but watch Wakataka's feet on the Tawada. Right here, he's gonna go. This foot is going to come right here, and then this foot is going to move afterwards. If he clacks his heels, or if he gets too close to himself, he falls. But just watch this. The edge, Wakataka trying to fall, but no! Insane footwork for Wakatakakage. Oh my God. Every single moment of this match, incredible work by both men. But the fact that Wakatakakage led with a Tachi-ai that he did not do at all for the entire tournament. He used pulling attacks, which he did not do at all, except out of desperation on the edge. Like, That must have been a part of his plan coming into this match, thinking about it, thinking
That is
maybe I need to switch it up.
number 1 in my top 10 list.
Most vid players with those keys? Oh, let me try. Ah. No, not for VLC apparently. I could slow down the speed though.
Oh.
Actually, yeah, let me slow down the... Wait, I could slow down the speed. That's insane.
Back, but Wakataka is
I wish I knew I could slow down the speed. Holy crap.
trying to slap him down at the end. Wakataka trying to fall, but no.
Holy cow. That's a game changer. That's going to be amazing for these videos now. I didn't know I could do that. Shit. But yeah, overall, like, the fact that Wakataka pulls that out of his ass on the last match to shock Takayasu into an odd Tachi-ai and then follow that up with attacks that Takayasu probably didn't expect, like, that was incredible. That was insane. This was an amazing basho for Wakataka, and I can only hope that he keeps getting better, because that was some fan-fucking-tastic sumo right there. And that is going to be it for this video. Probably going to keep streaming for a little bit longer, but that is going to be it for this video. If you are watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and do all of those other fancy things to get my YouTube channel big and famous, so I too can rub elbows with all of the other famous sumo streamers. I'm waiting for a collab. Jason. But if you were watching on Twitch, thank you for watching here. If you missed any of the VOD here on Twitch, then you can go right onto my YouTube. I will be uploading it straight after the stream, so you can go and catch it there in about an hour after it uploads and processes and checks for copyright and all that stupid nonsense. Yeah, do not forget to go and follow my YouTube channels and my Twitch and my Twitter, and give me money. All of those links are going to be in the description down below if you're watching on YouTube, or in my chat if you're watching on Twitch. And that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Look forward to my stream next week where we play Guess the Banzuke. That I will not be posting to YouTube because I like to play music because I am not boring. Wow. I also would like to announce that, of course, I will be doing the raffles for my stream again, and they will be Wakatakakage merch. Unfortunately, Tagata are sold out on BigSumoFan.com, so instead of the Tagata, I will be giving away a fan with the wrestler's face on it. So I will be giving away Wakatakakage fans. Who won the raffle? It was a couple of people. Let me see if I still have their names. Third place was a friend of ours, Maiden Shy White Wolf. Second place was Hogs Bison, who got their prizes already, thank goodness. And first place was Inked Pitbull. So congratulations to all of them. And like I mentioned, the next raffle is going to be Wakatakakage merchandise, because he is the one that won the YUSHO. And hopefully we keep getting different YUSHO winners, so I can keep giving out different merchandise, and I can keep building up my own personal collection of sumo merchandise. All right, but yeah, that is going to be it for the video. Again, thank you for watching. Have a good night.